Hey there, welcome back. Friends, in our last video we have tried to organize this application, and in this video we will try to implement the logical part where we are adding this user in the database. So let's get started. Now friends, when we try to submit this form, we click on this button. Definitely we are submitting this form to this operations controller do post method. Here is the method, which is cool stuff. Now there could be a scenario where there are like multiple forms and we need to handle each individual form, for example using this do post method. Now what is the solution for it? Definitely we can make use of a switch case, right? Now in order to apply a switch case, definitely we have to add some kind of identifier inside this form, right? So currently this form, let me show you, this form is kind of static. It is not a wonderful looking beautiful form. Definitely you can deal with the template related stuff. We are not looking forward to make this beautiful, rather we will talk about the implementation part. You can definitely check out the template and try to make it beautiful, but the point is how to implement a field which will identify this form. The answer is hidden field. So let us move forward, and in here we would be adding a hidden field now. So it would be like input, and type would be very interesting. Type would be hidden. Name would be form, and value would be add user. Here we go. So this looks good to me. And now moving forward, let us do one more thing. We will mark this username as a required field, and the way is very simple in fact. So in here we will simply type in required, and in place of email, again we will mark this as required, and moreover we will update the type from text to email. Alright, so this is good stuff. Now moving forward, let us check the operation controller.java, and now moving forward, definitely we would be adding a switch case, and this switch case would be based on a string variable. The name of the string variable would be form, and we will get the information from the request object. Now friends, the request object name is req in here. Let me fix this as well real quick. So we will give the name as request, and for response we will give the name as response. Alright, so in here we will type in request dot get parameter, and the name of the parameter is definitely form. Alright, so this is good. Now moving forward, we will type in form equals to form dot to lowercase in order to reduce confusion. And now finally let us move forward and add in a switch case, and the switch case would be based on this form. Here we go. Default case is nothing as of now, but first of all the case would be what? The case would be add user. So let me copy this part. Now take a note of it that we have converted all the names to the lowercase in order to reduce confusion. As a result, we need to add all of these cases in all lowercase. So that is again a catch. And for default case, in fact, what we gonna do is we will redirect the request to the error page. So here is the error method call. So we will do that, and our work should be done. Alright, now inside this add user method, the next thing is adding a add user method. Now here is a thing. We have already added this method by the name of add user. Now there is this for example confusion, which method to use, when, and what naming convention we will use. Now if we check, this particular add user method is doing what? This particular method is doing nothing but loading the form. Whereas when we are handling the form, we are performing some kind of operations, right? So this particular operation needs to be denoted with some keyword like operation, right? So in order to do that, let us do one thing. Let us first of all rename this variable name form to what? We will rename this to operation. So let us do that. We will give the name as operation. Alright, so this is step 1. Then we will also upgrade the value of the parameter, which is not add user now, but we will postfix operation keyword in here. So it would be like add user operation. And let me also copy this keyword and update the value of the parameter form. So it would be add user operation. Alright, so this is good stuff. And now moving forward, let us add in the logic where we will implement the add user operation method. Now first of all, we would require an object of user in order to pass on to the add user operation. Now let me show you. If we check, we have the entity class user and we have this operation controller. Now if we check this entity class, we have only one constructor, and this constructor is based on all of the 3 column names, and these column names are user ID, username and email. Now let me quickly show you the workbench, and here is the table structure. Now definitely we have 3 columns, but the user ID is what? It is the primary key, and it is also auto incremented column. As a result, we need not to worry about the value which will go inside the user's ID, and in fact it would be auto generated. As a result, definitely what we will do, we will add in a yet another constructor first of all. So we will right click, navigate to source, and we will generate constructor using fields, and this time we will deselect user's ID and we will create a new constructor. So this is cool stuff. And now moving forward, let us navigate to operation controller, and first of all let us create a new object of user type. And first thing would be username, and in order to get the username, definitely we will read the parameter. So we will type in request dot get parameter, and the name of the parameter is username. Let me show you. This would be the parameter, which is nothing but your input field username, right? So likewise we will also read email. So it would be like request dot get parameter. Let me expand this, and name of the parameter is email. Alright, and we will store this particular object inside a new object. It would be like new user. Alright, so this looks good to me. And now finally let us add in a new method, and the name of the method would be add user operation, and we will pass on new user. Fantastic. Alright, so this looks good. Now definitely this particular method is not available to us, so let us create this method, and this method will definitely call our model. So let us create a object. So in here we will type in new. What is the name of our model? Let me show you. It's users model, right? So in here we will type in users model dot add user, and we will pass on the new user. Here we go. And once we add in this user, we will simply return. Alright, now definitely this add user method is again not available inside our users method. Let us also do that. We will simply hover upon this and we will create this add user method inside users model. So here is our method. Now the business logic that how we gonna add the user in the database is something which we will see in our next video, and that is something which will be implemented soon. Alright, now moving back to our operations controller.java file. In here, once we add in the user in the database, we will simply return the specific control to the case, and once the control is returned to this case, definitely we will call in the list user method and our work should be done. Alright, so this list users method will definitely list down the user, and it will also reflect the new user in the list. So this is good, and in fact if we want, we can definitely run this application and this application will run, except that the actual addition of the user in the database will not be done. That is something which we will implement in our next video. But let us try to understand whether the overall functionality of our application is working properly or not. That is something interesting. Alright, so here is our home page. Let me click on add user. Now let me try to directly click on this add user button. There would be couple of validations. Let me add in my name as a username, and email would be again my name, for example, and try to add this user. Again, there would be this validation. You must enter a valid email address, and this particular validation is implemented because of this required field and because of the type, which is email. All right, again, let us navigate to our page. In here, let me add in the email as chand@studyeasy.org. In fact, the email is admin@studyeasy.org. Let me click on add user, and here is the listing of user again. Definitely the user didn't add it in the database because we are yet to implement this add user method in our model. Alright, so this model part is something which we will do in our next video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day and take care.